Hey guys! So since I made a video about 5 things that I love about Korea, I thought that I should make a video about 5 things I dislike about Korea. Not hate, because there's not really anything that I hate about living in Korea or about Korea, but there are some things that will get to you after a while, so I thought that I would make a video about this. This list is in no particular order, and there are other things that bother me about Korea, but these are just the things that I thought of at the moment. So here goes. 1. Being an oddity. So what I mean by being an oddity in South Korea is that when you come to South Korea, you will immediately feel the difference between the country you came from and living in South Korea. And this applies mostly to people who are Caucasian or Black. If you're Asian, and especially if you look Korean, you probably will never feel this, but in my case, when I came to Korea, my first year here was so weird. I felt so out of place at times because, you know, you walk down the street and you get stared at. You get people driving in their cars and they slow their car down just to like look at you. Some other things that would happen in my first year, I would get my picture taken all the time. Literally, I don't know how many pictures I took in my first year here in Korea, but you get a lot of people walking up to you asking to take a picture with you. You get a lot of people walking up to you asking to touch your hair, asking to touch your face, touching your skin, you know. There are a lot of Koreans who have never seen a foreign person in real life before, so they will come up to you and they'll have a million questions, and sometimes you really will feel out of place. Even in my 3rd year here, I sometimes feel like the odd person out. Like, I can walk into a store and I will have people just staring at me, or people trying to touch me, or people trying to talk to me. It's really weird, and it's actually kind of a culture shock for when I go back home to Canada. It happens so often to me here that when I go back home, I feel like I'm invisible. You know, like I walk down the street, I walk into a store, no one looks at me, no one even notices that I'm there. Whereas if I'm here, just walking down the street, I will see like 5-10 people stop to look at me. 2. Winter. So winter is the season that I hate the most. I hate it whether I'm in Canada or Korea. I hate the cold. I cannot stand it. The thing that I hate the most about Korean winters is that I feel like I could just never win. You know, back home in Canada, we have heat like everywhere. Like, you walk into a store, you're warm. You go home, you're warm. Houses and buildings are insulated and they're made to keep heat inside. But here in Korea, they don't do that. The worst is when I'm at school and I'm teaching and the window is open in the middle of winter and they've got the heat blasting, but you can't feel the heat because the window's open. It drives me insane. There are days where I actually have to go into class and teach with my winter jacket on because it's so cold. Or if I walk down the hall and there's 5-10 windows open, I don't understand how we're ever supposed to be warm when the heat's on but the windows are open and all the cold air is coming in. I cannot stand this. It is my biggest pet peeve for winter here in Korea. 3. Garbage cans and poop bins. Garbage bins and poo bins. I feel like in Korea there is not a garbage bin anywhere in sight for the longest time. Like, if I want to eat something on the go and I order something at a restaurant and I walk around and I eat, I then have to walk around with all of my garbage and carry it until I can find a trash bin, which is almost impossible to do. I feel like they're nowhere in sight, like ever. Another thing that I can just not get behind is the poo bins in the bathrooms. Yes, this is disgusting, but whatever. When you go to the bathroom here in Korea, I guess the sewage system is not yet up to date. And so you're actually not supposed to flush the toilet paper down the toilet, and you're supposed to just, you know, go to the bathroom, use the toilet paper for whatever you need to use it for, and then throw it in the bin next to the toilet. This is so gross for me because you go into the bathroom and you just see the bin with the toilet paper and everybody's business in there, and I think it's just gross and I wish it would stop, but what can you do? 4. Privacy and personal space. Something else that I dislike about Korea is the lack of privacy and personal space. When I'm talking about lack of privacy, what I mean is, like, if I go to a doctor, there's no like privacy. Like, everybody will know my business. For example, I went to the doctor's a couple weeks ago and he called me into his office, and I sat down, started explaining why I was there, whatnot, and then this old lady just came into the office, sat there, and just stayed the whole time that I was talking to the doctor. Like, she did not leave, he didn't ask her to leave, and I wasn't gonna ask her to leave. Lack of personal space is also a big thing for me. I don't know if Koreans are like this with each other, but at least for foreigners, in my case and in some of my friends' cases, they really like to touch foreigners. I cannot tell you the amount of times that a Korean person has come up to me and touched my hair, touched my face, or even just touched like any part of me. I was in the store 2 weeks ago. I was looking for some Christmas presents, and I went into the store and a lady came up to me, and I'm wearing my jacket. She reached inside my jacket and started touching my waist and telling me, you know, oh wow, you're foreign, you have such a nice body, where are you from? And the whole time that she's talking to me, she's touching me, and I just stood there like in shock. I couldn't believe it, because we would never do something like that in Canada, obviously, and I don't really think that they would do that to another Korean, but since I'm foreign, I guess she thought she could. 5, personal image. Personal image is something that is extremely important here in South Korea. It's almost to the point of being crazy, I think. The amount of ads that you see, especially when you're in Seoul, for plastic surgery is absurd. Every corner you turn, there's a plastic surgery ad. I mean, even when you're walking down the streets, sometimes in Seoul, you see people with the masks on their face, and you can see their bandages like under the mask, and you can tell they've got like their nose redone, or they've got like bruises on their eyes from the eye surgery. And I think it's just crazy the amount of plastic surgery that they advertise here. It's not only about plastic surgery, but it's also the way that you dress, the makeup that you wear for both men and women. You hear stories about how if you get plastic surgery, or if you look this good or that good, your chances of getting a job are better, your chances of doing this and that are better. I think it's completely crazy. I teach elementary school, and one of the things that I find shocking is that even in elementary school, where you're like, you know, 5 or 6 to 12 years old, even then, children are talking about like looks and, you know, personal image. And it's so crazy, because when I was 12 years old, I wasn't thinking about these things, but it's something that kids think about here. It's a reality of their life. So those are my top 5 things that I dislike about Korea. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.